Hey guys, welcome to this video. My name is Melly and I'm here today to share with you guys on how I got into construction. This question has been asked so many times to me. So this is my story. This is my journey and this is how I got into the trade. You know, I went to high school, I went to college, and I never graduated from college because I never figured out what exactly it was that I wanted to do. I've been at Knott's for maybe almost 3 years now. Specifically, I take care of the horses there. So we have about like 40 different horses at Knott's. I work in the livery stables in Ghost Town. So we try and rotate our horses out that are in there. And you know, that way guests can come in and they can meet the horses that actually pull the coach. And it's a very nice experience. So I love working there. But to be honest, I was just, you know, I was standing there one day and thinking to myself, like, where do I see myself in the next 5 to 10 years? I didn't want to leave that job. I love the horses. You have no idea. And I do have a little boy. His name is Ian, and he is about to turn 6 years old. So yeah, I mean, I have a child to think about, and then I have my own, you know, future that I have to, you know, put into thought, like where is this going to take me? And I can't be at Knott's for the rest of my life. That was the thought that just came into my head, and from there I remember, you know, reaching out to my friends, and specifically one friend that I would always see that, you know, he was posting how he was working at a hospital and he was making good money. He directed me to a career center in Long Beach. It is called Pacific Gateway Center, so I can go ahead and leave the link down below. But if you do live in Long Beach, you know, this could be like a good way to help you find a career, help you at least find a job that pays pretty well. I went into the center and, you know, not knowing or having any clue like what to expect. I went in and I talked to the person at the front desk. They needed like my social security card, my driver's license or California ID, you know, like just a bunch of paperwork just to register me into the system. So I remember getting a call from them and saying, okay, you know, can you come this day? And, you know, we're going to go ahead and discuss different options for you. So I originally went because I wanted to do what my friend was doing. I believe he was a PCA, which is like a patient care assistant. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the universe was like, you're not going to do this. And that day they were like, you know what, this program is discontinued. I know you signed up because this is what you wanted to do, but we're no longer going to offer this. It was sudden. I don't even remember what it was that happened, but they discontinued that program. So they were laying out a bunch of options for me, and everything that they were throwing at me, I was just like, it sounds really boring. A lot of them were like office jobs or, you know, like customer service on the phone. And I'm not the type of person that can do like an office job. I've always been active, and I can't just sit in a desk all day long for 8 hours a day. That'll drive me crazy. And I remember, you know, just kind of like, oh, you know, sighing a little bit and, okay, well, you know, if I have to choose one of these, like which one will I get? Which one should I choose? And then this person goes, you know what? We actually have another program that I can offer you. I don't know if you'll be interested in, but it's actually for construction. I would always think to myself, like, you know, who's gonna hire a female? Who's gonna want this, you know, like a little girl like me, like so petite and tiny, like, you know, working out in the field. Like, no one's gonna hire me. So as soon as he told me that, I was like, yes, yes, yes. It was a 3-month course. And for 3 months, we had days where we would do labor work. We would, you know, like carry bricks, like carry planks on our shoulders. These planks were like, you know, if you put my height, I'm like 5'2", so if you were to stack me up like 3 or 4 times off the ground, that's how tall these planks were. And we were required to carry 2 at a time on a shoulder and just go back and forth and back and forth. And we were just doing all this labor work. It was insane, but it was basically to, you know, make sure that you were getting some sort of idea of what it's like to be out on the field, and if you're physically capable of keeping up and, you know, making sure that this is what you wanted to do. I was one of the 3 females that were in the class. I was very proud of myself for, you know, being able to prove to everyone that, you know, I was the tiniest one, but I was able to do it all. So I was very, very proud of myself. We built like a foundation, which is like basically like a layout, like if we were gonna, you know, start digging holes and stuff, learning how to, you know, use different machines and different tools. This class was like a total introduction into construction, and it was very helpful. within this time, we were required to do, research on the trades that we thought that we'd be interested in. And out of everything that I was researching, I had no idea what a drywall finisher was. I'd never heard of it. I had no idea what type of work it was gonna be, but I remember just having special guests come to our class, and we had about like 4 or 5 different people that, they stood in front of our class. They told us a little bit about their union and their trade and, what it is that they did. So these people turned out to be the International Union of the Painters in Drywall, and this is actually their little union sticker right there. So they're actually Local 1136 Drywall Finishers Union. And when they did speak to our class, it was very inspiring to see that there was a female up there telling us her story about how she got into the trade. It was very inspiring to see her, because I'm like, man, this is a girl, like this is a female. And, it was just very motivating to, be in this chair and, hearing her story. And I'm like, you know what, one day I want to do what she's doing and, hopefully inspire other women to join the trade. And it was pretty awesome. Once they were done, talking to the class, they gave us their cards, their information. I met the female that I was talking about, which her name is Janet, by the way. And she actually runs like the entire union. So, I mean, honestly, not by herself, obviously, but she basically runs like the drywall finishing part of it. So she's like the person that's in charge of that. That was basically like my first step, getting, taking a first step towards my future, introducing myself to her and letting her know that I was all for it and I was motivated to do what she was doing. We ended up graduating from our class. We got certifications. We got all kinds of certs. And what we were able to do with our certifications is apply to the unions of our choice. So the first thing I did is I graduated and I went down to the union. I drove down there. It was in the City of Commerce, and I handed in all my information and I told them, I'm ready whenever you guys are, available to get back to me. I'm here. So it did take maybe about 2 or 3 months for them to get back to me, just because work was a little bit slow at the time. And I get this call from Janet. I'm just like, oh my God, she's calling me, like, oh my God. I answered the phone, and she did tell me like, hey, I have this like company that is specifically looking for a female, and you're the first person I thought of. She gave me the information, and I was like, yup, tell me where, tell me when, I will be there. It was actually the following day, so I had to call off work. And I interviewed, I met the superintendent. He's a person that does the hiring for the company. And I remember driving to the location, which is now today Circa. And I actually still have my badge. It's a very cool it's kind of like a little memory for me. So I kept my badge. And, in a way, it's kind of like, yeah, I get to show off that, the building is all done. But guess what? I was a part of building that and putting it together. So here's my ID. I look really ugly. But there's the name of the location that I went to when I first got hired, which is Circa. And if you actually, search that up or you Google it up, it's right across the street from the Staples Center. So I was a part of that. And so I went in, I met the superintendent, that we sat down on a bench. It was like a little lunch area. And yeah, there was a lot going on when I was sitting there. There was a bunch of chaos, a bunch of things going on. But we were like in a little safe zone. So we talked, he asked me a bunch of questions. Basically, I guess just making sure that I was motivated to do this, because he kept telling me like, this is hard work. I don't know if you're going to be able to, like keep up with it. And, just by looking at me, I was so petite. So, of course, he just wanted to reassure me that what I was getting myself into was going to be hard work. I showed up with my tools and my hard hat and everything, like, ready to go. And the first thing he told me was like, the first thing you should do is follow directions. And he did tell me not to take my tools, but guess what? I took my tools anyway. And then further along, he was actually like acknowledging the fact that I was there prepared. So after the interview, I filled out a bunch of paperwork. Since I had already joined the union, the day that I turned in all my paperwork, I was able to start like the next day. So thankfully, everything turned out really well. I can tell you that, my very first day, it was a little intimidating. I'm a female working with a bunch of men, and to everyone it was very shocking to see. The first few months it was a lot of cleanup, a lot of just, emptying out the trash buggies. In between that, I guess they would kind of see, like, the foremans or like the journeymen that were there. They would kind of notice that they were like, okay, like she's trying really hard, or she's putting in a lot of work. So every now and then they would call me over and they'd just be like, hey, like, come over here, like, I'm gonna show you how to do this. And then, I would learn things like here and there, little by little. So I think I was, just recognized for like my hard, like, work effort and, my work ethic. People were noticing that, and they were, willing to teach me. So I was very fortunate for that. Another thing is working for a union and, working as a drywall finisher. We do go by stages. So it's basically an apprenticeship. An apprenticeship is, you have 6 stages. So you go from first, second, third, fourth, fifth. You hit your 6th stage, and once you're done with your 6th stage, you're able to journey out. We are required to go to school about 4 times a year. I missed my first time around that I was supposed to go to school. It was one of the biggest mistakes I had ever done, but it held me back for a while. So I was first stage for about a year, and today I just recently went to school about 2 weeks ago, so now I'm officially a 3rd stage. So once you do move up in stages, you're also getting that pay raise, which is very cool because you don't have to ask for a raise or ask for your benefits or anything. It's just automatically given to you as long as you're turning in your hours, logging in hours that you're working, this many hours every month, and, just being specific on what type of work that you're doing when you're out on the field. And yeah, you keep up with that, and they keep up with your raises. You go to school, you get your raise. So it's a very beneficial thing to have. I'm also going to show you guys another badge that I have. This is my Oceanwide Plaza badge. So at the moment right now, as I'm filming this video, we are working in this little location here. Please, my picture looks really terrible, but that's actually what it's called, Oceanwide Plaza. It's right next to Circa. So there's a Staples Center in downtown LA, and then across the street is Circa, and literally right next door is Oceanwide Plaza. So there are 2 towers that are right next to each other. And it's very cool to say that I'm a part of that. I'm a part of, building that. And right now we're taking a little pause. Work is slowing down a little bit. It'll be some time until we go back, but I'm definitely there and a part of. So I'm very thankful and very proud to say. But that is basically how I got into the union. It is very cool, very awesome work. The hours can be insane. Sometimes can start as early as like 4 in the morning. And sometimes we can start as late as maybe 7 o'clock. So it can be from 4, 5, 6, or 7. And yeah, probably the latest we get out is about 3:30. I hope this video was helpful to any of you guys that, are thinking about, going into construction, or you guys didn't know how to, like, where to start. My advice to you would just be, do some research on whatever it is that you're trying to get into, and by that I mean the trade. And once you do your research, you're able to, like call unions and see if there's any, accepting applications or accepting people. And once you join a union, the union does everything for you. They find work for you. If you're not working, they put you on an out of work list. I know there's like a ton of people, a ton of companies that are like non-union, which is fine. Like, you can work wherever you want. But I just specifically, chose to be with a union because I just feel like my money and my benefits are more secure. So if you want to go out and try and join like a, a specific trade, I advise you to get as many contact information, just like companies, call the companies and ask for work. It is a very fun career to have. Honestly, working construction it's very rewarding. It's very hard, it's very heavy and dirty, of course, but yeah, it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth the pay. So if there's any questions that you guys have for me, or if there's anything that I didn't mention, you guys can go ahead and leave like a comment or leave it down below. I will do my best to get back to you guys as soon as I can. But yeah, just thank you for watching, and I hope this video was very helpful to you guys. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.